What up, what up? This Finding Fitness and Folk channel. We discuss finance, a little bit of fitness, talk about some folk. So today's episode, I'm going to discuss why being fired may be a blessing. So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing the video out, give you leverage to better yourselves. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy the video. So it's pretty hot out here today. When I got in my car to go working out outside here, my thermometer said 90 degrees. So I knew I was gonna be kind of exhausted when I finished. But you know, I didn't overexert myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm 46, I can't be going out here, you know, working out like I'm 26. It's just not gonna work, right? So I took breaks when I needed, but I finished what my goal was. That's the key. Doesn't matter if you jog, walk, run, as long as you got a goal in your mind and you finish that goal when you work out, mission accomplished. Doesn't matter if you took 10 minutes or 10 hours, does not matter. Reach that goal. So in any case, I'm gonna try to get through this video as best as possible because I'm kind of winded. So let's get into it. So why do I say being fired may be a blessing? So I'm gonna talk about my own personal experience because like I said before in previous videos, I try to relate a lot of things that I talk about on my videos to real life experiences that I've dealt with and also what other folks have dealt with that I know personally. I mean, I do delve into like other people's issues when I see them online, when I see them on video and things of that nature, but I try to relate it as much as possible to me because, you know, I feel like that's going to be the best way for me to convey the point because I'm looking at it from my eyes, not anybody else's. So yeah, a while ago, right? A long while ago, I'm not going to say exactly when it happened, right? But I was fired. I spoke about this in previous videos on my channel. And it was definitely a eye-opening experience. I had never dealt with that before, right? It was more like being let go than fired, but you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. You know what I'm saying? When you're terminated from a job, you know, you can sugarcoat it all you want to. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is that you got fired. Whether you got laid off or whatever, that's still being fired, right? Let's just keep it a buck, let's keep it 1,000, right? So I got fired. And I'm not sure if anybody noticed, but in Virginia, this is what they call the at-will state. I think that's the terminology for it, but basically what that means is that if you're a contractor, which I was at the time, a DOD contractor, and what it says is that an employer can fire you or let you go, you know, however you want to word it, at any given time without any explanation. I know in the corporate world and some other jobs that you may have in your life, there's certain procedures that you can go through in order for you to mitigate you being fired. Or let's say you actually did get fired, you know, so you can go back to the employer and have them explain to you why you got fired and why it's valid that you were fired. And you can fight that in court, right? But if you're a contractor in Virginia, that's not the case. You know, I'm not gonna say the reason why I got fired. It was a no fault to mine, but bottom line is that I couldn't fight it, right? So once they told me that I was fired, it was like, okay, what I'm gonna do now? Now I explained in a previous video when I was talking about this that when I did get fired, I had savings. Thank God for that. I had a little nest egg where I was able to float, paying everything that I needed to pay to survive, right? Me and my family, you know, mortgage, car, and all the good things. And also, I was able to tie to the church still, right? Off of the savings that I had. Basically what I did was I took the savings that I had and I paid myself, right? So whatever I was getting paid from that job, I paid myself that from my savings every 2 weeks, right? And that was a way of me making sure that I didn't overspend before I got another job, right? So that could be a technique you can use as well. But I do understand a lot of folks in America don't even have $1,000 in savings, which is pretty sad, but in this economy, I'm telling you right now, like a caveat to this video, figure out some kind of way to save money, y'all, because it's not gonna get any better before it gets worse, right? But anyways, so I had a little nest egg. Now it took me like about 2.5 months, almost 3 months for me to actually get my next paycheck. It took about a month for me to get the job, but of course I had to go through all these procedures like a background check, get processed in. You know, of course you have to go and work that one day and then like 2 weeks later you get paid your first paycheck. So For the time I got fired until the time I got my next paycheck from my job was about 3 months almost exactly, right? And, you know, like I said, thank goodness that I had a nest egg to help me float. But it was an eye-opener because I'm sitting here like, you know, this company could have had me on the streets had I not had savings, right? And that was a scary thing. That was a wake-up call because I'm like, you know, this employer literally has my life in his or her hands. They could literally say I'm fired and I'm screwed. And I'm pretty sure that there are some folks on this video right now that's watching this, that this probably happened to them. And they went into panic mode, especially when it comes to guys that have families. Like, you do not want to be in a situation and have that feeling where you literally have nothing coming in as income, as a father, as a husband, as a provider. It's a very scary thing, it really is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know as guys, we're supposed to be real strong and masculine and not, you know, not succumb to feelings a lot of times when it comes to navigating through life. But let's be real, y'all. Let's be real. If you get fired as a man and you are a husband and you have and of course you have a wife and you have kids, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that you're not gonna panic, you're not gonna be scared just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Unless you have so much savings that it's like, you know, it's nothing, you can just go ahead and just, you know, get another job easily because you have a very good skill set, or that job was like just a side job, was not something that was providing for your family. But if that job is what you depend on to provide for your family financially, it could be a very scary thing. Now, getting to where I'm saying that this could be a blessing is when that happened to me, the very first thing I thought about was I should have a business. That's the very first thing I thought. I'm like, you know, I could do, you know, some side hustles to keep me afloat and do all these other things, right? You know, but the bottom line is that had I had a business and I had scaled that business, I could have just went full on into that business after I got fired and I could have scaled it, right? Because I had the savings to back me up to do that, right? But at the end of the day, you know, we are programmed, especially my generation, we are programmed, you know, to go to college, get a nice job, work 20, 30 years, live off retirement, you know, and it was really hard for me to get out of that mindset, you know what I'm saying? Now, I do have a job again now, right? And, you know, do I want to quit my job? Actually, I really enjoy my job that I have right now. I'm in DC all the time. I'm making so many connections. It's just a wonderful experience that I'm having right now, you know what I'm saying? So, it's not stressful. You know, I've built a very strong IT skill set to where that's the reason why when I got fired, I was able to get a job just like that because I put the work in, right? And actually, crazy enough, I wanted to get a job that paid me 10 G's more than I got paid at the old job. That's fact. I'm not lying about that. $10,000 more than what I was getting from the old job, and I got fired from the old job, right? You see how God works? He's faithful. And what I'm saying to you is that if you get fired, you know, take a deep breath, don't panic. Think about what your next move is going to be. Like, take a day off, you know what I'm saying? Like, the day that you get fired, I'm not wishing this on anybody. I'm just saying, like, this is life and this could happen to you. So if this happens to you, you know what I'm saying, take a day off, you know, gather yourself. And then, you know, go ahead and think about what your next move is going to be. And my next move was to create an LLC and start a business. And that's what I did. So on top of me having a job right now, I do have an LLC that I'm trying to scale right now. And it's one of those things that, like, I'm not saying that God wanted me to be fired. I'm just saying that there's so many blessings that came from me getting fired. I got moved into a position that was, I mean, a whole lot better than what I was in, right? And, you know, it's just good things that have happened to me with this job and this experience over and over again, time and time again, since I left the job I had before. I'm not gonna lie, I was fearful about leaving that job because the job was paying a lot of money, right? And I'm sitting here like, I wanted to pivot around in the job field and go into a different sector of IT, but they wasn't trying to do that, right? And I'm sitting here like, I need to find another job, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I'm getting paid so much, I'm not sure if I can get any more money than I'm getting right now. So that's why I was kind of fearful for leaving the job when I did, when I was trying to. But of course, I to a certain degree, I guess I gotta believe, I think God intervened and said, you know what, son, I got something better for you. So if you're not gonna leave a job on your own, I'm gonna make sure you leave that job, right? So, you know, being fired from a job can actually be a blessing in disguise. It really can. And you don't have to have an extremely good skill set for you to be fired from a job, and then you think that, okay, like I can just go ahead and just go down the street and get another job the very next day. I mean, you could be, you know, somebody that's working in retail. Doesn't matter, right? What I'm saying is that, you know what I'm saying, don't look at the bad side of being fired. Look on the good side and think about what you're going to do, because for one, when you do get fired, you got a little bit of freedom because you're not going to a job anymore, right? You don't have a boss anymore for the time being, right? So because of that, that gives you opportunity to think about what your next move is. I'm telling you right now, a lot of times with guys, when pressure is being applied, you'd be surprised how many things you can think of that's innovative. I promise you. When pressure is applied with guys, listen to me now. If pressure is applied to guys, I'm telling you, the wheels start spinning in your head and you're going to think about anything to hustle. You're going to think about anything to get money. I promise you. Not anything illegal. Hopefully you don't do anything illegal, right? But, you know, innovation is sparked when you're put under pressure. And a lot of times when you get fired from a job, that pressure is there because it's like, I need to pay these bills. These bills don't care about me getting fired. They get cared about being paid for, right? So anyways, premise of the video is being fired can sometimes be a blessing. I had thought about doing an LLC while I was working the old job before I got fired. But like I said, leaving that job and being fired actually pushed me towards that. So now I have an LLC that's hopefully it's gonna scale pretty soon here. And you know, I still have savings. I still have a nest egg to hold me down. And it's just one of those things that, like, you really have to really think about what your next move is, and stay prayed up, right? First thing you need to do is pray to God and ask God to give you discernment, and ask God to actually give you some insight on what you need to do next. You know what I'm saying? That's the first person you need to talk to is God, and trust in Him that everything's gonna be okay. Put the work in, right? Put the effort in. If you're going to get another job, get another job. Put the applications in. You want to start an LLC? Research how to do LLC in your state and start the LLC. Start doing side hustles, do Uber Eats, do DoorDash. Do anything you need to do to sustain yourself and your family. Because that's what we do as men. We sustain ourselves and our families by putting in hard work. So don't worry about being fired. Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Just worry about understanding what God wants you to do and praying to God and making sure that you put your best foot out there when it comes to you scaling a business and scaling your life as a whole. Because being fired is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise. So if you want me to discuss a topic that you think is beneficial to the channel or to yourself, email me at finandfitnessfolk@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Find Fitness and Folk, Triple F, I'm gone.